know when the talk comes to sports coupes made in America, most people think of Mustang, Camaro, or Firebird. But Ford's Probe is also made in America and represents a front-wheel drive alternative for pony car fans. Or does it? We'll see in this report.
With 6 model years under its belt, the Probe has established itself as a player in the sports coupe category. But there was a time when it was poised to play the spoiler, as Ford executives came this close to replacing their All-American Mustang with a car that scarcely hides its Japanese pedigree. Ironically, the biggest news about the 94 Probe concerns Europe more than the States. For the first time just this year, the Euros are discovering what we Yanks have known since '92, that the Probe is a sharp-looking, sporty handling 2+2 with a spirited powertrain. But it's also a front driver, and that ultimately tarnishes its image just a little bit among the purists out there. Under the hood of the upscale Probe GT model is a peach of a motor, a 2.5-liter V6 that's technically a Mazda. It's fed via sequential fuel injection and spins 2 cams per bank to deliver 164 horsepower at 5,600 RPM and 160 foot-pounds of torque at 4,800. In a category almost overpopulated with turbo-induced horsepower, the razor-sharp throttle response of the Probe's normally aspirated twin-cammer is a real breath of fresh air. So is its turbo-comparable fuel economy of 21 and 26 miles per gallon for city and highway. Performance is right where it ought to be for the class. 0 to 60 in 7.3, the quarter mile in 15.5 at almost 88 miles an hour. Inside, this car is beautifully buttoned together. Now, I'm no fan of the flat controls on the radio, but I do love this wraparound cockpit with all the right controls in all the right places. Above all, though, I'm crazy about the 5-speed. It's about as slick and positive as any transmission I've ever shifted. Barnstorming along a favorite back road, about the only thing to ruffle your feathers will be a healthy dose of torque steer you'll experience powering out of acute corners or over dips and swells in the road. Braking, though, is lickety-split with 4-wheel ABS discs and fat 50 series tires. It takes just 127 feet to stop from 60 miles an hour. Inside, the Probe lavishes front row occupants with a wraparound cockpit, while rear seats, although hardly roomy, are at least functional as well as foldable for access to the 18 cubic foot trunk. And the optional CD stereo with programmable EQ and subwoofer is so killer, it makes music out of what would be noise anywhere else. The price is no budget killer, though. Base for this 3-door GT is $16 grand. As tested, our sticker totals $21,190. That's a bit high, but not out of line for the class. In the end, what makes this car easy to love are its aggressive and racy look, throttle response and shift action that are as sweet and crisp as peanut brittle, and a sporty yet forgiving handling setup. But we don't especially care for the torque steer under extreme acceleration, the pop-up headlights and sunroof that smear the Probe's elegant lines, or, here we go again, that infernal flat panel radio. Despite its occasional shortcomings, the Probe GT definitely proves itself a solid, if not unique, sports coupe. But it is special in one regard. Instead of replacing the Mustang as it might have, the Probe joined it to give Ford the best 1-2 pony car punch in the industry. I'm Mark Stengel for Road Test Magazine.
Up against a heavy metal American V8 connected to rear-wheel drive, the Probe has definitely got its work cut out for it. But against the V6 sport coupes, both domestic and import, it's got the qualities of a winner. For 95, though, the big question is how well will the Probe compete with the exciting new Eclipse and Talon from Mitsubishi and Eagle.